All right, we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. My name is Eli. As always, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days in which we do live Q&As. But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And outside of that, obviously, if you want to check out any of the other links, if we ever have a spot in Patreon, highly recommend you check it out to get access to Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and so much more at wholesale prices. And then outside of that, Discord is the place to be if you want to stay up to date on all things Pokemart USA. But let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give a couple of shout outs to those who are here. So DJ, Jester, Pokey Collector J, Swirly, Russell, Sempa, Jason, Zard, Tori, Pika Pika, Tyler, Wits. Did I say Jason already? I don't think I did. Jason, Amori, RD, and that's it. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Let's see what everyone's talking about so far. Anyone playing? Oh, they added the trading card game on Switch today. Ooh, that's interesting. Well, I might have to check that out then. How are we feeling about the Charizard box? I'm not a fan, but that's just me personally. I think that the Charizard box, it's it's one of those things. Here, I'm gonna move my face over a little bit to the right. Sorry, I have to get used to the new angle. We are I'm feeling bad about it. I don't think it's gonna be good. I think it's just a Charizard box that they threw Charizard product in, and they basically were like, yeah, it's got a Charizard in it, it's gonna sell. That's kind of what my anticipation is with it. But I'm debating on grabbing a box from LGS today for $120. Man, I don't. You know, it's tough. I'm not the biggest fan. I think it's gonna be bad. What's up, Pika Pika? Hope you're having a great week as well. Happy Ligma Day. What are the new gadgets? Okay, so a couple of things. I've been doing mad troubleshooting over the past couple of days. Thankfully, I was able to get it all figured out late yesterday, which is why I didn't record a video, because I was like, there is no way in heck I'm going to be able to record a video. So, literally, I'm like, gosh dang it. Well, I'll just have to use the new gadgets for Wednesday, and then next week is when we're going to be going live with the new edits. So I basically upgraded and got a new microphone. So for those of you guys wondering, obviously price doesn't mean anything, right? But like $60 was how much my old microphone's worth. This one's worth $250. So we did an upgrade with the Shura. Hopefully the level is fine with you guys. Cause like it's weird. I look at the voice level of what it shows on my boom mic. Hopefully it's good enough. And then we also upgraded the camera from my phone to an actual camera. So yeah, I used to just literally go off of my phone. So cool upgrade on that one as well. But yeah, and I'm also gonna have to do a little bit of testing with that still, because there is zero zooming capability or zoom out capability, and it's kind of interesting. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I make that adjustment then? Because how do I make that adjustment then? I know it's a lens thing, but it's like in terms of the lens, it's like how do I set that up? So I'm still figuring some things out. And but yeah, so I'm excited to finally get things going. A little bit quiet. I guess I'm a touch quiet. Okay. Yeah, and it's funny because like look how close up I am to the mic. Like I am so close up to the mic, which is weird. And so I don't know if it has to do with like some setting adjustments that I don't know about, but literally in terms of like my mixers on Streamlabs, I'm at full volume. In terms of my settings for the mic, I'm on full volume. It is a Shura, I think is what they're called. I can't remember the exact model I got, but it's a Shura. I'm just curious about the Patreon specifically. Is it strictly current distributor prices? Does it come with access to buy at those prices as well? So Fernando, how the Patreon works is you literally just get access to a list of products that I have available for purchase at distro pricing, and you're just paying distro pricing. Obviously, you're also going to pay the distro fees associated with that, but if you did, of course, have distribution, if you did have distribution access like myself without going through me, you'd still have to pay the fee. So it's not like an additional fee that I tack on top of it. So in terms of that, you're literally getting it for whatever cost is, right? So like people will tell you Charizard, or EX box, I can't remember what they're going for, so maybe I'll give a better example. Like booster boxes, $95.50. That's what you're paying for the new boxes of like Obsidian Flames, or $31.25 for ETBs is what you're paying. And obviously it depends on booster boxes and ETBs, because typically speaking, if Sword and Shield booster boxes is available, then it's usually cheaper, or it's usually more, but or no, it is cheaper. What am I saying? Gosh, I got terrible sleep last night, ladies and gentlemen. We had literally, I woke up, I'm so sorry if I'm slurring. I woke up at 5 in the morning because of just a loud, like, thunder noise, like so freaking loud. And literally for like the next half an hour after that, I like couldn't go to bed because there was literally a storm right outside. Our power went out, everything, like we got knocked out, and it was terrifying because usually it's like, oh, that's really cool to see in the distance, and then when it's right above you and you're like, oh crap, this is scary. That was an overall new experience to have for myself. So what I was trying to say though, if it's Sword and Shield, typically speaking, it usually is cheaper. But obviously with the most recent reprint of Lost Origin Silver Tempest, because the prices are so high, distro has raised it, which if I'm correct, I did get someone messaging me saying that it looks like one of the distros added Lost Origin again outside of just a bundle. I'll have to look it up, but that's really cool to see. So, but yeah, no, I mean, my biggest selling point, which is interesting, my biggest selling point at this point for the program, it originally was like, hey, take advantage of these opportunities that come up with like reprints and stuff. Because I don't know about you guys, but like I got 12 cases of Lost Origin booster boxes that I'm just now sitting on. Like, are you kidding me? Like, sure, it's in a bundle, but I don't give a crap. The bundle items I can just break down and sell off for bulk. I don't care, right? That's literally what I've been doing just to get access to Lost Origin booster boxes at $93 a piece, 92. I can't remember what the exact math is. So it's like, okay, that's just what I'm doing, is just sitting on a ton of them. So, and it's like, you can obviously take advantage of those opportunities and get the free tendies, but there's also other sets as well you can take advantage of. We've got people that know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! That from time to time will literally be like, yo, Eli, I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I see on the weekly specials page, I can get this for a really dirt cheap price. I'm going to buy it because I can flip it, right? And same concept goes for Magic. I mean, there's a ton of people that know absolutely nothing about Magic that are able to buy product and flip it and or break it down and sell for bulk. So the real advantage, although there is a ton of it in Pokemon, the real advantage is just utilizing the distro page overall just to create your own TCG business. Or if you're someone that just likes to, invest in sealed product for Pokemon, then it's one of those things where every new set release, you can always get new product to be able to hold. Thanks, Koga. You're gonna have to buy that mic. Are you getting any? I know, right? I'm like trying to be as loud as I can, cause I want I literally have the volume all the way up, and maybe I need to have. Is there like a way? Yeah, I don't even have a limiter set. Yeah, I literally do not even have a limiter set, so it's interesting. It's interesting. Hello, please, I need your sincere opinion. What is the future price of one sleeve pack of Evolving Skies in 5 to 10 years? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have a crystal ball to be able to expect what one sleeve, which is very specific. I mean, I don't know. I think that Evolving Skies is performing. It's continued to go up most recently. We've seen a 10% jump in the past month on Evolving Skies, so prices are going up, whether you want to say it's real or, manipulation. And for that reason, I mean, I don't expect things to change anytime in the near future. And if you're saying 5 to 10 years, it would not be surprising to see it go up to team up levels. Like, we're talking $40 a blister. Like, it sounds crazy to say in a hot take, but like, that's in 10. I mean, he said 5 to 10, and team up is a 5-year-old set. So it's like, if it's 10 years, yeah, it's pretty conservative, I feel like, to say that. How much did my mic and camera cost? Okay, so the microphone cost like $250 is how much it cost. And then the camera, I got, well, I have to set up the lens just to try and kind of figure it out, because this is without the lens, but it costs me, so I got a good deal. It was $800. I bought it secondhand because someone literally was like on Facebook Marketplace, like, hey, my wife bought this because she wanted to get in photography and she doesn't know how to work a camera, and I'm wanting to sell it for a discount. Anyone interested? I'm like, I'm interested. And it was literally brand new, never been, like, literally been used like a couple of times. Like, you couldn't even tell it was a used camera. So I got it for $800, and usually with the kit it said online that it went for $1,500. So I'm like, nice. I feel good about that deal. And my whole thing was, I was like, if I'm gonna upgrade camera, I want it to not be like an intermediary camera, because I already have one of those. I already have, this is the, oh, whoopsie, this is the camera I use for overhead whenever we do streaming, for brakes, which, ooh, I need to list some of the brake packs. That reminds me, I'm gonna have to make that announcement. So but yeah, no, it's one of those things where you guys, I'm reading the comments and I can't focus now. I can't focus. The 5-finger discount? Yeah, right. You guys get it. But it's one of those things where I just wanted to get a nicer camera that was mirrorless. So, yeah, I mean, it looks good, right? I just need to make a couple of adjustments and trying to figure out the best way to make it zoom in and out, right? Besides Evolving Skies, what Sword and Shield set would you recommend buying? Like, dude, I am going so heavy on Lost Origin right now, it's not even funny. Like, I am going so balls to the walls. Like, it is insane how much I'm going in right now for that. So I would say that is my answer. Like, don't get me wrong, Silver Tempest is good, but Lost Origin, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We saw what the price was that it went up to. It was pushing $190 for a booster box. And with that, you're able to pick it up for, obviously, some sites are selling it for $130 or cheaper. And obviously for myself, with distribution and bundles, I can get it for cheaper. And so I'm just going all in. I am literally dumping so much money. I've dumped at least $10,000 into Lost Origin within the past couple weeks. So I'm just going crazy right now with that. Besides, I already answered that question. It woke me and my girlfriend up at 5 a.m. as well. Gotta love AZ Storms. Only lasted 2 hours. Yeah, dude, that was gnarly. Like, holy crap. Yeah. Talk about, it gave me such terrible sleep. I woke up so late today because of that, because I don't know what I did, but like, I was playing volleyball late last night, because I play in a volleyball league at like 7 to 8, and I like tweaked my back, and so I was just getting terrible sleep last night, like trying to go to bed, and then literally, like, I straight up came to bed, finally fell asleep, and then several hours later, because I fell asleep at 3, I wake up at 5 to Storms. I'm like, mother frig, this is the worst. Yeah, they added LO booster boxes for around 108, I think, on Magazine. Yeah, it was me who messaged you, put those orders in, right? I'm sorry, I still haven't gotten back to you, Alfred. I apologize. I need to message you back on that. Well, thanks. I just took the last spot in the Patreon. Well, heck yeah, man. Thanks for joining. Yeah, no, Poke Collector is 100% right. Usually, if we do, so we have, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We usually have about 3 spots on average, 2 to 3 spots open up in the program every month. Because of just someone leaving for. From what I've seen, it's like 95% of the time, it's people that join the program, and I just didn't know they were in the program because they never messaged me, they never linked their Discord, they never did anything. They just were in the program, and that was it. Like, they just literally joined the program, which is the weirdest thing, because when it comes to like me allocating product for new sets, I swear to you, not only 60% of the program actively is buying whatever the newest set is. A lot of people are in the program and are just like, I'm just holding on to a spot because prices, I wanna secure my price and for my spot. And so when those people do leave, it's usually like, hey, I didn't buy any product, I'm just leaving. And so it's so funny to see that, because it's never like, oh, someone was in the program, used it, and like didn't like it. Like, the people that are active in the program, those are the ones that like I very, very rarely see. I think the most recent person, which I'm sad to see them leave, they left the program just because they have access to their own distributor with their storefront. So it's like they used us to supplement their product. And then once they're like, hey, we have enough from our own distributor, thanks for helping us out, we're just going to continue with our distro. It's like, all right, well, I can't really, argue with that, Last spot was open for 20 minutes. Yep. 16 to be exact. It was not open for long. So, yeah, right. Secondhand AK stolen. Hey, the guy seemed very legit. He seemed like a very nice guy. We are finally going to be doing that Primal Clash break. So I've been waiting to get like the transfer of new equipment before we did the Primal Clash break. So I am... Also, I was obviously sick for a while. So we're going to be doing the Primal Clash break pretty soon here. So next week, we're going to announce the Primal Clash break. That's going to be the plan. I just need to secure the product first. What do you think about the Terra Charizard card on Obsidian? I think the artwork is ugly. I think it's dumb. I don't even care, man. I think it's so stupid. Even Eli is saying to go on LO. He should stop the stream and put in the orders in distro right now. Yeah, right? Everyone's like, wait for me. Well, here's my thing, right? So, obviously, there is 2 ways right now on distro access to get Lost Origin. Either you buy it flat out for 108, or you buy it in a bundle with distro 3. For me, personally, I like the distro 3 bundle better, because you can get it for $92 if you take the distro bundle. And obviously, like, you have to pick up like a Paldea, 2 Paldea tins and 2 Silver Tempest Stadiums. But like, you can easily break those down and like sell off the bulk and stuff. But to be fair, if you're not into selling bulk, then I understand. You're like, I'll take the 108. Especially 108 is such a good price for silver or for Lost Origin. So I get justifications for both. How many cases I have absolutely no idea which. Usually they put it, so I know for certain that the distro 2 or so distro 3 is on open order. Don't know about distro 2 though. Most of the time it's usually actually, I don't know. That's not true exactly. That is not true exactly. I was about to say usually it's on a limit, but guess not. Did you see the new Paradox Raikou? I did not. The only thing I saw was the Detective Pikachu promo card, which looks really cool. I like that. Has anyone mentioned Eli's skin is glowing? That is, you gave me hard eyes. That would probably be the new camera. Obsidian Flames is disgusting set, not going anywhere near it. I don't know, man. I like it. Does he keep cutting out a couple every words? Gosh dang it, man. I'm sorry. Like I said before, I don't know why the microphone... I'm still getting used to things. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I will try my best. I will try my best to get as loud as possible with the microphone. I am literally like hunched over here. You know what? I'm gonna, just to make it look like I'm hunched over less, I'm gonna turn it even more so over here, just so that it looks like I'm real close up to the mic. Look up Paradox Raikou. Yeah, we can look that up. Paradox Raikou. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's not a card, it's a Pokemon. Paradox Pokemon. I don't know why. I like the Duraludon a lot, actually. The Applin is like a caramel apple. Okay, that's pretty sick. That's actually kind of cool. It would be so cool if its shiny version was a caramel color. Oh, that would be so sick. This could be interesting. This could be promising. Distro 2 is open order for LO cases. Well, it is open order on our end, but I have to call Distro to confirm things. Oh, it may have just been you. Any updates on the Legend of Blue Eyes cases? To my knowledge, they're still sold out of stock. Danny P said OF is the easiest set to complete or master set in a long time. It's a tiny set. It makes sense. Every SV set is bulk. You know? I don't know, man. I like Paldea Evolved. I like it. I genuinely like Paldea Evolved. I understand people's disdain for Paldea, but it's honestly one of the best second sets we've ever had, in my opinion. And by second sets, I mean if you go look at like the history of second sets, going back to like take a look, right? Guardians Rising or Furious Fists. Like, what did you like more? Guardians Rising, Furious Fists, Rebel Clash, or Paldea Evolved? I think it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, this is... Whoa, what are we doing here? Why are we focusing so much? In and out. That's weird. Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer for me, man. I really... Why does it keep doing that? That's so weird. Hopefully it stops. Do I play Minecraft? I do not actively play it. I used to quite a bit when I was younger, but I haven't played Minecraft in so long. Is today sorcery allocation date? I don't know necessarily what you mean by that in terms of sorcery allocation dates. Usually it's just deadlines for when you have to get them in by. So presumably that's probably what you mean. SV151 should be good. I agree. It's going to be really good. Kind of heavy into PE. It's a dope set and it's so cheap. Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I honest to God like it a lot. I think that, I mean, gosh, man, you can probably get secondary boosters for $95.50. I mean, which is wholesale. You can probably get them for cheaper. I remember at one point there was places on Facebook Marketplace selling them for like $92 a piece. It's because I'm fidgeting so much. Is that what's going on? But yeah, it's crazy how cheap you can get this for, and I think it's so good. Dude, this thing, I feel bad with the focusing in and out. It's throwing me off. What's the set after 151 with the cheese? I did see that we did get an announcement in Poke Beach. Well, obviously it's not just Poke Beach, it's other places. But there is a raffle. Oh, maybe they didn't announce it. It was there was an announcement that there was going to be the next set was being raffled off. So I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to that, but the new set's going to be raffled off on the Pokemon website, and it looks like it's going to be some sort of like water with legendary set. It looks interesting in terms of the artwork, so I'm curious to see what that's going to entail. 151 will be able to be mastered pretty easily as well. Oh, solid. Look at this, guys. I don't know what's going on here. Do I need to like use like something soft and like clean off the lens? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I am still new to this. Look up Cobblemon. Yeah, I've heard of Cobblemon before. My buddies used to play, and they literally were like, "Oh, you should get into Cobblemon. It's so cool." 151 will be mastered with all the product available. Yeah, I think 151 is going to be a really good set. It's going to be an easy set to master. It's kind of like a small evolutions type set is what it looks like too. But to be fair, so does Obsidian. I mean, it's interesting. Raging Surf, Groudon, Terra Garchomp. Yep, Terra Garchomp, dude. What is up with that? The Terra Garchomp, dude. They're gonna give him a little stupid looking crystal hat, and it's gonna make me really sad. And I'm not ready for it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm so over the Terra hat type stuff, bro. I swear to God, I'm going to have to adjust the camera if it keeps doing this. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta adjust the focus on the camera because this is getting ridiculous. I don't know what is going on. I am so sorry about this. Obviously, just figuring out the new settings. All right, hopefully this should be fine now. We'll see how this looks. Oh, just kidding. Oh, I don't look, ladies and gentlemen. Do I look good? Do I look good? What do you think? Do you think we should do the stream like this? Oh my God, that's not it. Oh my God, that's so bad. All right, nailed it. Much better, folks. Okay, I have no clue if this is gonna be better or not, but we're about to find out together. I adjusted it so that it's going to focus. I think it's the lights in the background. I honestly think the lights in the background are throwing it off. Jesus loves me, dude. Talk about adjustments after adjustments. If it is the lights in the background, then I might have to turn it off at some point. But I think we hopefully should be good. Way easier on the eyes. Hey, that's mean. Nailed it. Anyone else catching Pokemon references in the Beery Bubble movie on Apple? No, I don't watch anything Apple. I don't have Apple TV, I think is what it's called. I don't have Apple TV. But yeah, the new Paradox Pokemon and the Detective Pikachu. A show called Path to the Peak announced. Interesting. But where were we last? Yeah, the new set. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm going to be really upset if they butcher my boy Garchomp because I am obviously a huge Garchomp fan, and if they're just going to throw a stupid little hat on him, I think it's going to look so dumb, and I'm going to be so upset. So, not the biggest fan of that. Apple indeed. But yeah, I mean, right now, in terms of what I am most just focusing in on in the market, I think Obsidian Flames is going to be a potential really good opportunity to pick up when prices drop for a long-term hold. I know people are going to say it's crazy to say that because everyone's like, oh, Eli. I mean, I talked about this on the opportunity. I talked about this on the video saying it's going to be an opportunity. People need to take advantage of it. I think Paldea Evolved is really dirt cheap. You know, I just like a lot of what's available right now, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of Scarlet and Violet. I know everyone's hating so much on Scarlet and Violet, but at the end of the day, booster boxes are booster boxes, and specifically Obsidian and Paldea are going to do well, Paldea being the best of the sets so far, in my opinion, and Obsidian is just a Charizard set. Outside of that, I'm going really heavy into Lost Origin, because, I mean, with prices on this item having dropped, you know, it's hard to compete with it. I mean, that's just kind of like my real MO right now. I mean, we don't know what SV is going to look like, right? We're obviously jumping the gun. It's a new generation. Everyone is looking at it and saying, it's not Sword and Shield, it's garbage. And so because of that, it's like, all right, everyone, let's calm down. Everyone, let's not jump the gun, hold your horses. So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. People are just being emotional. People are just being very emotional about the entire situation. So I think that when people are being emotional, take advantage of it. I mean, obviously look at what Rudy's most recent video he posted about Pokemon was like. And you know, obviously he's super hyperbolic, so you have to take everything he says with a grain of salt. But like in the context of the video, he's like, hey, look, I'm going to make a large purchase of Scarlet and Violet era product because I think that it's not going to matter in the long term. And history is going to show that, because history has continued to show that, starting back with his bathroom in XY. And I don't think people understand, like, we look at it now and we're like, oh, these are cool sets. Back in the day, XY era was so bad. It's still bad, but it's like, it was worse. Like, the way in which people looked at XY era sets was, it was all bricks, and there was nothing to take away from XY era. And so for that reason, you really just, there was just no money in it, right? Sealed was terrible. So I just think that in the overall context of everyone talk about Scarlet and Violet, it's just, if you think it's a terrible generation, everyone thought XY was a terrible generation, look at how it performed. I don't even understand this sentiment. SV is a better era thus far. We're 3 sets in. No, 1000%. I 1000% agree, Necro. I mean, if you look at what made Sun and Moon such a great generation, it was the second half. It was the tag team with the alternate arts, and it made it an amazing, amazing set, right? And then what ended up happening is start of Sword and Shield era, it went away. We were like, where did those alternate art designs go? Then like a third of the way into the Sword and Shield era, we bring back alternate arts with a new design, and it blew up and people loved it. And from then on out, we've had nothing but different types of alternate arts, and now they're SIRs. And we never had that at the start of a generation before, where the start of the generation includes a new art design. And there's no other set you can compare it to. You can hate all you want on Scarlet and Violet base and Paldea and everything, but there is not a generation that's within the first 3 sets had really amazing art designs. Pokemon booster boxes have always increased in price when they go out of print, right? Right? It's a holding game, man. It's a holding game. And that's kind of part of the reason why I do like Lost Origin so much. It's weird to think about it, because Lost Origin as a set, it's like almost a year old now. Isn't that weird to think about? Like, it came out September 9th, if I'm correct. So when the set came out. So it's August right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're a month away from the set being a year old. And in 1 more year, it's going to be out of rotation. And with the way in which the Pokemon company has been focused so heavily on not really doing anything Sword and Shield related, it just makes me feel like it's going to unlikely. It's just unlikely it's gonna get another print. I bought 8 V Striker tins at $15 with Pro Week sale, 4 at $7 a piece. Isn't that a deal, man? Isn't that a deal? And you got yourself some Evolving Skies in it. SV will be cheap for a long time. Canceled all my OF pre-orders. Put your money into Sword and Shield until it's too late. I mean, that's the thing, is that's basically what I'm doing, right? I am taking my money right now and I'm putting it in the back end of the Sword and Shield era that is going to do extremely well over the next couple of years. And then once I'm done with that, I am then going to transition all my funds into taking advantage of cheap booster boxes for Scarlet and Violet, particularly right now, Paldea Evolved, and then Obsidian Flames. And it's super simple because even if I say like with Paldea, obviously if Paldea stays cheap for the next 6 months or so, 3-6 months, then cool, I'm gonna get in, right? I mean, I honestly will just want to watch and see what happens with Lost Origin, because I want to take a year and just see what Lost Origin does. That's my main thing. I want to say, hey, over the next year, what is Lost Origin gonna do? Is it gonna go over 200 bucks, right? Is it? Is it going to go over 200 bucks? I think it might. In a year time, I think $200 Lost Origin is not out of the realm of possibility. Obviously, there's still economic questions that are at play, especially with what's going on in the economy, right? So that still scares me. Right now, with the way in which Sword and Shield product is performing, has anything changed in booster box prices over the past month? Has anything changed in booster box prices the past month? Everything's changed. Nothing has not changed, Cameron. Like, literally everything has changed in terms of booster box prices. Astral Radiance is pushing 140, which is crazy to see. Astral's going up. All of the first half of the alternate art era for Sword and Shield boxes have done nothing but continue to go up. Brilliant Stars boxes is on the climb again after it went all the way down to like 135. It is now up to 160. Silver, Tempest, and Lost Origin obviously have gone down quite a bit in price since the reprint. Paldea and Scarlet have just done nothing but go down. Evolving has gone up 10% in the past month. Like, everything's moving booster box wise, up and down. What about good pull rates in SV? What about good pull rates? I mean, who cares? No one cares. Literally, no one cares. I can sit here and say, hey, I don't like Lost Origin that much of a set because the pull rate experience I had was terrible. We opened 2 cases and pulled 1 alternate art. 2 cases. That is brutal. And guess what it was? It was a Berserker. And I was sad. I wanted the Giratina. So for me, I was like, I hate this set. But at the end of the day, it does not matter. People are going to love the set because they think it's got cool cards. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what your experience is with the set. People will love it regardless if it's got good cards, and people will hate it regardless if it has bad cards. And at the end of the day, it's not going to matter one way or another if it has good or bad cards because it's going to perform regardless, right? Unless we're talking like a set that is so atrociously bad. But we haven't had one of those in at least 6-7 years. A set so bad it doesn't perform. Like, we might hate on Rebel Clash, but at least Rebel Clash had some cards you could chase, right? That's what Rebel Clash had. You know what a set didn't have, really, cards that you could chase? And I know, of course, now some of the prices of these cards have gone up because waifu's a thing. But, like, Crimson Invasion, ladies and gentlemen. Crimson Invasion is a set where literally for the longest time the main pull of the card was a Gyarados. And it was a rainbow Gyarados. Do you get up in the morning for a rainbow Gyarados? No, you do not. You don't care at all. And with that, okay, Sylvani GX, Alolan Executor, Alolan, like, no one cared about this set. This set was terrible. It performed terrible. There was nothing to enjoy in this set. And so, for that reason, it's like, no one cared. This set sucked. This set is terrible. And yet, being one of the worst performing sets in the, past 10 years of Pokemon, it's still $200 a booster box. That's terrible. That is a terrible performance. But considering these boxes were being flash sold at one point for $60, that's still a 3x return. That is still a 3x return. That is the equivalent of you buying a booster box of Lost Origin at $130 and it going to $400. Take that into consideration because the price point still matters, right? And so for Crimson Invasion, you might say, oh, well, it didn't perform as well. Okay, well, what price did you get in at, right? Did you get in at $50? Did you? Because if you did, you're 4xing your money, or you're 3xing your money. But it's, you get the point that I'm making. And it's like, okay, well, other items that you got in at like $86. Your card, oh, look, my face went out of focus. It's like, in order to triple your money in that regard, it has to go up to $300. This only has to go up to $200. You know? It's interesting to think. SV has to be awful and trash because history repeats itself as far as the first block. Yeah, and that's the thing is that I've said this before. I'll say it again. People always look at the first half of every generation, and it's usually the worst performing. It's always the second half, or the second third, I guess, even, because if you look at the Sword and Shield era, its prime was not even in the second half. It was in the 2/3 into the generation. Like, if you really think about it, like, when we got Battle Styles into Chilling, those were some early sets. That was like the 5th or 6th set. (2001 to 5), you could buy bit, yeah. Do you see an era like this happening again? You could buy base set for less than... Wait, hold on 1 second. 2001 to 2005, you could buy base set for less than MSRP. Do you see an era like this happening again? I don't know what you mean by that. An era where you can buy things for less than MSRP? Because, I mean, that's what we're buying things at wholesale. So I guess I don't understand your question by that, more or less. Or man, who wants to be able to pull every card you want? And that's the thing, is at the end of the day, you'll hear people complain, pull rates suck. It's too hard to pull something. I hate this set. Pull rates are good. I hate it. It's too easy to pull everything. Like, you're always gonna have people complain. For me personally, I've been on the side of easy pulls. I like easy pulls. I do. I honest to God like easy pulls, because for me, it's about the experience of getting the cards themselves that's fun, and like striking out sucks so much, especially too when it's a new set, right? When it's a new set and prices are high and you can take advantage of them being high, then selling off, it's really nice. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's just terrible if you get a new set and prices are high and you don't pull a thing. It's tough. And people might say, well, because there's so many, prices are saturated and they're going to be lower. But it's like, I don't know. Kind of. Not. Like, yes and no. I think it's more of a demand thing, if anything. I think there's two sides to the easy pull theory. A positive side, it makes the boxes fun to open. People come back to the set. They're going to want to have fun. Think Crown Zenith. It'll be interesting to see how Crown Zenith performs. I mean, it's a brand new set. There's still quite a bit available. I would like to see how Crown Zenith performs in the year. I'm betting on it because I'm heavy into Crown Zenith, so I'm betting on it. It does hurt single value and higher grade of Papa Hey. Exactly. I don't really care about that, right? Like, who cares? For me, at least, I don't care. I'm not looking to buy the singles to invest. Obviously, if there is investment opportunities to make free tendies, then sure. But most of the time, it's for my own personal collection. That is so true, Bacon. And it's a large part of the community. It honestly is. And don't get me wrong, like, there's no better feeling than pulling a card that's extremely expensive. I mean, at the end of the day, there is a large reason why the Lord of the Rings set for Magic became popular to people outside of just Magic. Right? For Pokemon, it was huge because it was being discussed by a lot of Pokemon people, right? For me personally, I'm just a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so that's kind of what I was allured to it by. I didn't even buy collector boosters to open either. Like, I just thought it was really cool, right? And so with all of that being said, it's one of those things where I just think at the end of the day, there is going to be a balance between the two, right? There's going to be people that are gambling addicts that like to chase value, and that can coincide with chasing a cool card, right? But the minute you start to say, hey, I hate this set because it has no expensive cards that I can pull, well, it's like, okay, well, that takes the fun out of it, right? Especially too, like, what are you calculating? Is Evolving Skies an amazing set because the Umbreon is $500? Right? Like, why? And let me ask you this: if the Umbreon was worth $50, would it be just as fun to pull? $20, $10, you know? Nothing hits home like watching people pay $300 to $500 to open old heavy packs with terrible pulls. How we doing, Don? I mean, I've not been sick for a while now. It's been at least 3 weeks, I think. 2 to 3 weeks since I was last sick. So I'm doing good. How are you, brother? Didn't get the best of sleep last night, as I was telling people. I had to deal with thunderstorms last night. Monsoon, I should say. It was a fun time. Monsoons were keeping me up at night. But hopefully you're having a good time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't put much emphasis into pull rates. I don't, honestly. And I don't think people care about singles value either, because if you look at a set like Evolutions and the single value for those cards, I mean, let's go take a look at Evolutions. I mean, the singles are still dirt cheap. The singles are still dirt cheap. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe that's just me. What do you think? Hold on. When do you think set F is going out of rotation? That is a good question. I don't honestly know. I mean, at the end of the day, if it was going to go out of rotation for August, I feel like they would have announced it now. Or September. I feel like we would have known this now. So I think it's probably going to be the first set of next year, if I were to guess. That is my only guess. And we can look this up too as well. Oh, that's funny. It really does focus on the center. So if we look at Pokemon Worlds 2023, it starts August 11th and ends the 13th. So if you think about that, that's literally 3 days from now is when it starts in Japan. I feel like at this point we would have heard it rotate out. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. In your opinion, is Whatnot overall good or bad for the hobby? I think it's neutral. I don't think something has to be good or bad. That's my stance on Whatnot. At the end of the day, everyone hates on Whatnot so much because there are people that are paying ridiculously outrageous prices for a lot of things on Whatnot that are not worth nearly as much. Trust me, I know a couple of people that sell on Whatnot and they make stupid money selling crap and people buy it. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where there's no one to really blame other than the individual who is willing to pay those prices without doing their own research. I don't fault and it's not like they're taking advantage of these people because they're saying, hey, I'm offering this price on Whatnot that you can buy into. No one is telling them they have to go on Whatnot. You can go buy that product on eBay. You can go buy it on TCG Player. You can go Google things for cheaper prices. You can look at Reddit forums. You can look at Discord forums. You can go look at everything. Like, it is not hard to Google something and find out ways to get things for cheaper. But somehow people still choose to pay that much, whether it be because of an experience or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't think that it's fair to just straight up say that they're scamming people because they're charging so much, when at the end of the day, people are willing to pay those prices and they're just being dumb about it. If someone is being dumb and they're literally like paying stupid prices for a card, it's like saying I'm going into a card shop and I'm saying, hey, I want to sell my collection. And the card shop is going to buy my collection from me for 30% of the market value or 40% of the market value. Am I getting scammed? Like, what is being scammed, right? Or am I just getting a bad deal because I'm uninformed that I can sell it for more elsewhere? Like, what really is it? It might be one of those things where, you know, in the eye of the beholder, they're like, yo, you could have gone somewhere else and got it for 60%. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it was just my local store. They did 30-40%. I didn't care. I just want to get rid of it. I'm happy. I got cash. Like, it's all one of those things where at the end of the day, each person has their own decisions, and unless we're going to microanalyze why each person does what they do, it's like, it's consenting, right? No one's forcing them to hand them their wallet, and forcing them to hand them their wallet and make these purchases, right? Did you pay attention to the whole break saga? Bad. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. He was 20 to 25% of the owner who is now banned. But here's the deal, though. That's not what I'm having a conversation about. I was not asked a question about Blake's Breaks. I was asked a question about Whatnot. I think it's very wrong to label an entire platform bad because of the individuals on it. I could literally point to scammers on TCG Player who literally will... Is my face getting farther away or closer? What is going on here? I'm like trying to focus in on my face and it feels like it's getting farther away. Maybe I should have been turning it this way the entire time. It's like saying TCG Player is a bad platform because there's people that scam, or eBay is a bad platform because there's people that scam. And I hear that all the time. I hear people criticize eBay so much because there's scammers on eBay. And at the end of the day, yes, there are tons of scammers on eBay, but there's also a ton of opportunities that are really good on eBay that you can take advantage of. You just have to take advantage of it. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. I mean, listen, I don't use Whatnot for a reason. I don't like the platform. I think the platform sucks. But is it bad for the hobby was the question. And I think it's neutral. Like, there's nothing... Like, what is it specifically that Whatnot is doing that is bad for the hobby? Because they're offering exorbitantly higher prices than what people can traditionally do? Like, I don't understand that. You can go to LGS's and make the exact same argument. You can go to some people that are listing things on TCG Player for ridiculously expensive where I can go get it secondary market for cheaper. You can go say the same thing about eBay. You can go say the same thing about a lot of other sites if we're making an argument about exorbitant prices. But if the thing is that we're saying it's bad for the hobby because recently someone who was a scammer got in trouble and he just so happened to be on a platform that you have disdain for because they're overpriced, then it's like, I think it's very unfair to make. And like I said, this is coming from the perspective, I don't have a Whatnot account. I've never streamed on Whatnot. I don't use Whatnot. And it would feel weird using Whatnot because I don't like that's just not my MO. But that doesn't change from the fact of the matter that I know people who use Whatnot, and I don't say, wow, you're a terrible human being because you use Whatnot. No, they're just using a platform that they're able to make money, and I don't think that's anything wrong as long as they're doing it in a legal fashion that's not shady. In a legal, hopefully people heard that correctly. People pay for ETB. Yeah. Oh, that's a great point, man. If I go right now into a big box retailer and I go buy $55 for a Crown Zenith ETB, am I being scammed? Am I? Because there's a lot of places you could go buy it for wholesale. Or not wholesale, sorry, MSRP. At like 50 or cheaper. Or if I go right now and say, I'm going to go buy a pin collection at Target and it's $20 there, but GameStop's doing a deal where they're selling it for $12. Am I getting scammed? You know what I mean? Like, because that's not scamming, that's just gouging. Should I go about... Hey, Eli. How should I go about selling my own Obsidian Flames caves? Rip all ETBs and sell off the promos and packs separately? I mean... that's a tough one. I guess it depends on what your intentions. I mean, in terms of if you're selling it, obviously, if you're trying to sell it sealed as a case, that's usually the best way to go. The scam isn't how much they charge. The scam is how they manipulate the bounties and how they don't send out high value hit cards or swap them out. Yes, but you're saying that as a broad statement about people that do Whatnot, period. I think that for Blake's Breaks, who got in trouble and banned from the platform, you can say that, but I don't think you can say everyone who uses it specifically does that. And there goes my camera because internal temperatures are too high. Well, that's a new one, ladies and gentlemen. New camera, fun times. We're figuring things out together, folks. Internal temperatures too high? That's a new one. Is it because I'm in Arizona right now and it's just hot as frick? Or is there more to it that I don't know about? That was interesting. I just took out the dummy battery and put it back in. Let's see if that does anything. Dude, that's crazy. Hey, like I said, remember when I didn't post a video because I was having technical difficulties? They're still happening. I'm still figuring out the new camera thing. Bounties, the gambling, the carnival games. This is why Whatnot is doo-doo. You aren't buying the packs, you're buying the tickets to their lottery. I mean, funny you mentioned Carnival. Like, Carnival games, you say they're a scam, or you say they're a scam like Carnival games. But it's not necessarily a scam. It's obviously something that is in the favor of the house. Kind of like casinos. Whatnot is literally just like the Pokemon equivalent of a casino. It's got the wheel for roulette. It's got the dice rolling. It's got everything in terms of the aspect of gambling where it's going to be in the favor of the house, right? But people still love to gamble, even if they're being, not in the true favor of the consumer. But that's like literally life. And I don't understand why it's like one of those things where I feel like it's the weirdest thing when it's a hot take to say, like listen, do I, like I said before, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Do I agree with the methods in which people are generating revenue in a legal way, in a non-scammy way, in a non-shady way? No, I don't agree with it regardless. Obviously, for the shady and the scammy way, of course, it's wrong. They should be banned, taken off the platform. But that doesn't change the fact of the matter that I've still gone to Vegas. I've still played craps, or I've still played roulette. And at the end of the day, you say to yourself, well, Eli, you are playing craps, you're playing roulette, and the games are in the favor of the house. Why would you play? You're getting scammed. It's an experience. That's what people are paying for. Government watching you, right? Would you grab a case of Paldea Evolve 520 shipped right now? Right now in this very exact moment? $86? Where are you buying it for 520? Holy crap. Dude, send me the link where you're buying that for if that's legit, because I would buy that in a heartbeat. Only Eli decides to move to Arizona. Yep, and I'm paying the consequences for it. You're correct. Not everyone streams on Whatnot is a scammer, but the fact Whatnot does not punish those people who are, for the most part, makes Whatnot bad. But you just said that literally one of the streamers, Blake, just got taken off the platform for scamming. So that's not entirely true. Not to mention, too, it's one of those things where it's extremely difficult to completely police everything, because obviously there's bigger accounts that are going to get banned, like eBay, for example, right? We obviously saw that PWCC, or I can't remember what the auction place was, but one of the auction places got banned due to allegations of shill bidding. But literally, I was just talking to one of my buddies, Raheem, one of the mods here, yesterday, and we're discussing one of the individuals on eBay who makes scam listings of Pokemon cards, and he's been doing it forever. How do we get rid of him? Do we report him? Is eBay going to do anything about it? Like, at the end of the day, it's shitty that it's happening. Like, it needs to be removed. It's bad. But am I going to say, eBay, you're a terrible platform because there's someone manipulating? No, I'm not. Because at the end of the day, I still have a choice in the matter. And obviously protecting the consumer is the number one thing as a company you should be doing. But it's really unfair to say that a company is completely liable to every single scam that ever happens, because not everything is definitive. I just don't like, everyone thinks, here's the thing, and this is my stance on life in general. I don't think everything's black and white. I think that there's a lot of things that you can be very opinionated on, but at the end of the day, two things can be true at once. That's just me, man. And at the end of the day, like I said before, I have my opinion on the platform. I'm not a fan of the platform. But at the end of the day, that still doesn't change the fact of the matter for myself that for those people that, once again, that are on the platform selling and are making money in a way that is, you might disagree with it, But as long as they're doing it in a non-shady manner that's legal, then it's hard for me to say other than good on you, you know? Blake was accompanied by a guy in charge of the TCG side of the platform. He defended Blake and ended up getting served too. It's definitely a reason to question the whole platform and its manager. We'll see. That is information that is new to me. That is information that is new to me. I did not know anything about this information. This is new information being put to light for myself. And when I hear that the platform manager who is in charge of TCG is also cooperating, then yes, that obviously is extremely shady behavior. It is no longer just an individual on the platform. It is now someone with power who is also on the platform that is abusing it. That I would 100% say is bad. Man, this whole temperature hot thing is fan-freaking-tastic. I have no clue why it's doing this. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, do I let it cool off? Like, what do I do here with it? I'm just gonna blow some air into it, I guess. Is it because the battery's hot? Like, what's going on here? It's probably going to keep doing that. Get a fan, point at it. I mean, it is a little bit hot in here. I mean, is there a way to get a cooler for my camera? I've never had this happen before. But yeah, no. Now that you bring that new information, then yes, I would say that acts such as that leave a bad taste in people's mouths. And it looks at the platform as a whole in a lot shadier. It's like, what's a good example? It's like Robinhood. That's a good example. Robinhood was an account that I really enjoyed, or an app that I really enjoyed when it came to empowering people to be good about investing. But then when there was the whole debacle of GameStop stocks, and people's accounts were being frozen because of market manipulation, that was something that said, nope, I'm never putting my money in Robinhood again. I am no longer touching it. And then once they then started to remove negative reviews from the App Store on Google, that was another thing that I said, F Robinhood, I'm never supporting Robinhood again. So instances like that where I can look at a platform and say, wow, this is shady. This is not good behavior that is happening. And once again, like I said, with the new evidence that is being brought to me by Necro in terms of an individual on the platform using their power to, you know, collude with an individual, then yeah, I think that's terrible. And I think that that's not good. That is not good at all. I heard about that. $60 ETBs. That's a good price. I know people are going to hate on it, but it's a good price. I like to call it Arizona Arizona. Well, it's funny too, because like at the end of the day, we've got AC running, we've got fans going. If it's getting hot, like how do I don't know. And it's still gonna get hot in the winter in this room because of all the lights that are being used. I don't know. It's weird. Like, how do I make it so that it doesn't stay extremely hot? Isn't that bad? Been here for 27 years and wouldn't trade it for any other state to live in. I mean, okay. People that complain about the Arizona heat, like, don't get me wrong. It's bad. But this is the argument I always make, right? And this is the argument I always make. When you think about the weather in Arizona, when is it typically it starts to get nice? Usually in the middle of September, right? when does it start to get pretty bad? Usually in around June time. I mean, for May, when I first came and visited, it was still in the like high 80s in May. Obviously, I think this year we were more in the mid 90s, but still, like, considering it's such a lower elevated scene, it's not that bad. Like, it's only really bad, I would say, once you hit high 90s and then 100 or above. Then it starts to suck. And even then, now that I'm getting acclimated, it still doesn't feel bad unless it's like 110 or higher. Like, we had a 107 day, and I was like, oh, thank God, it's only 107. It's not 115, which is crazy to say. But hold on one second. Going back to my original statement, the weather in Arizona outside of basically June, July, and August, right? And then the first half of September and the last half of May, if you want to say, if we're being conservative, right? 4 months out of the year, at most, typically speaking, right? Sometimes less than, right? 3 months, arguably, out of the year, but 3 to 4 months out of the year, too hot. The other 8 to 9 months, perfect weather. Or, and I know some people are like, oh, 60 degrees is cold. Bro, are you kidding me? That is prime weather where I'm from in Oregon. So for me, which would I rather have? 8 to 9 months of perfect weather, and then 3 to 4 months of it's too hot to do anything, or 3 to 4 months of perfect weather, and then 8 to 9 months where I can't do anything. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, you know, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but especially in Arizona, at least where I'm from, they are well equipped for nighttime because it gets so hot here. They have hoses, they have lights for things. They make it so that when you're outside, everything has AC here. Where I'm from in Oregon, when it's summertime, no home. I don't know a single home, from multi-million-dollar mansion to dirt cheap to middle of the road home, that I have been inside of that has built-in AC when it was built. And that's usually because it's only hot for 3 months out of the year. So what's the point of having AC? It's expensive. And for that reason, it's like, okay, well, that's crazy because it gets hot still in Oregon. And then once it hits about, you know, depending upon the season, obviously the season changes, end November, December, it's usually pretty much gonna get extremely cold and icy, and you're not able to really do much outdoor activity unless you like to snowshoe or go out in the freezing cold for about until March at the earliest, and sometimes as late as April. Like, I remember we had one bad season where my car was encased in ice until May. Like, and you say to yourself, when is that? Is, you know, basically December, January, February, March, sometimes April, sometimes November. So it really changes, obviously, each year. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. You know, you could have a mild winter. You know, it obviously changes. But at the end of the day, regardless of how the winter is, once it hits 5 o'clock, it's dark. And once it gets dark, there's not much to do because everything is, you know, outdoor activity wise, there's not really a bunch of lights for you to go outside and do things. That's why a lot of, like, the mountains tend to close a lot early. Like, there are some places that have mountains where you can, like, snowboard late at night, right? But, like, for the main ones, or if I want to go play volleyball, which is my whole thing, right? I can't do that unless it's the summertime. Versus here, I can still play volleyball early in the morning or late at night, because early in the morning I can play because it's still in the high 70s to mid 80s when it's in the morning. And by morning, I mean like 5 or 6 a.m. Or late at night, I can play when it's in like the mid 90s and it's just got no sun out. So it's not that, it's really bearable. It's easy to play in. Versus I can't do that when it's snowing outside. If it's snowing outside, I can't be like, oh, I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning to avoid the snow. Like, that's not how it works. Like, that's, of course not. So for me, I would say I like it for those reasons, because I can spend the majority of the season outside of summer, like the majority of the seasons in Arizona, and I can go out and I can enjoy the weather. Versus in Oregon, I can typically do that only for about a couple months out of the year, because at the end of the day, hey, just because it's summer doesn't mean we're not going to have record heat days as well. Heck, there was a volleyball tournament I was going to play in that they ended up having to cancel because it had record high heat of 110. It was too hot to go outside, and this is with altitude. This is a dry heat. Dry heats are not nearly as bad as it is 110 with altitude. That is brutal, right? So it's like, it's still too hot to do things on certain days and certain months. Obviously, you know, like in Arizona, you can avoid it later in the day, but you can only do so in the summer because it stays out later until like 10 o'clock. There's light out. So I'm gonna move my face a little bit this way. Yeah, this way. But yeah, no. That's kind of my take on it. And at the end of the day, we're going to be sitting here and saying, oh, the heat sucks. But literally in like a month and a half from now, when it's end of September, early October, it's going to be the other way around. Oh, man, I wish. Oh, snowbirds are coming.
You know, buying and selling a home is a lot. Rocket has a way to help with that. When you sell with Rocket Homes, you can get up to $7,000 back after closing. Plus, you can buy with Rocket Homes and finance with Rocket Mortgage and get up to $10,000 cash toward closing.
Just got to sell off some of the booster box for a down payment for a home in Flagstaff. Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, man. I'm literally, I mean, my goal is to get a home in the next year and a half, or a year and a couple months. And I'm not lying to you. I am banking a little bit on Lost Origin here to do well. I'm like, I just put so much of my liquidity in Lost Origin. Please do good. Sony camera? Yeah, Sony camera. The more cards get printed, the more platforms we need. If it's overheating, it needs a hard cooldown. But it did that. What do you mean it needs a hard cooldown? What do you mean by that, Tori? I mean, I obviously don't want to damage the camera. I mean, I just unplugged it, and then I just literally took this and I just blew it into it. hoping that cools it down a little bit. But is there actual like fans you can get for streaming cameras? I don't know. I've never experienced this before where a camera is overheated this way. I mean, we used the other camera and it never had an overheating problem. Is that like a Sony thing I don't know about? Blake wasn't one person. He had 3 channels with numerous streamers run his stream, and he was a part of. He was and is a partner of Whatnot. He also got banned because of Rattle Pokemon's video and also the Poke Backlash. Well, like I said, Bacon, there was information that is now being shown, and you were obviously telling me this because I didn't know about this. I heard Blake was just, from what I was informed, Blake was just a streamer on the channel who streamed, and he got caught for doing things. I had no idea that he was a part owner of Whatnot, and there was other individuals that are a part of the legal team of Whatnot that also got in trouble. I didn't know that information. That information is being given to me now, and obviously for that reason, my stance is changing because of that information, and I would say that, yeah, that's not good for the community. Summers in Ohio are so much nastier. Well, my parents live in Florida, so they're like, humidity sucks. What is a direct coolant system? Eli got a new camera for his OnlyFans. I lived in Vegas a few years ago. I'll second that. Summer is brutal, but the rest of the year is solid. Being that close to Mount Charleston too, you get a nice month of cold during the winter. And it gets cold. Like, it's weird. Like, it feels... It's weird. It's weird to say this. Like, maybe... I don't know. I remember when I was competing in a... I had to get up early when I came to visit Arizona because I was competing in a tournament. And This was back like when I first was visiting Arizona. I hadn't moved here. And it was May, right? Like I said, this was like early May, if I'm correct. And it was just like 9 or 10 o'clock, not super early. It was freezing cold at like 67 degrees. And it felt so chilly. Like I was shivering at 67. And from Oregon, it was snowing in Oregon at like 40, and it was at one point like the high of the day was like 45. And I was like, this isn't cold at all. But 67, it's weird. It's weird how the climate changed things so drastically with the dry. What are my feet pick prices? Ooh. What are my feet pick prices? Oh, I gotta charge a pretty hefty bargain, man. If people are a hefty price, if people want feet picks, you gotta pay up for the feet picks, bro. I got like Hobbit looking feet, so like, don't mean to like flex on you guys, but I could totally see myself in a Lord of the Rings movie. No. Hey, I don't think you guys might not realize this, but part of the reason why I'm never sold out in my program for the Patreon is because we had OF pre-orders for Obsidian Flames, and we also had OnlyFan pre-orders as well. So OF and OF, it's kind of attractive to join the program for that exact reason. So don't mean to kind of flex on you guys, but you get your money's worth. Here in AZ, you can still go out during 8 p.m. and still be able to see during the summer, late fall, winter time, 6 p.m. It's dark, but feels great outside. Well, and the thing is though, Jones, is that it's dark out, but there's lights everywhere. Like for example, if I want to go play volleyball in the winter on a nice day in Oregon, I have to find people that are willing to play in the middle of the day if it's wintertime. Like, let's say that it's December and we had a day where the internal temperature is still too high and it needs to cool. Mother fricker. I'm afraid if I keep just plugging it in and plugging it out, I'm going to damage something. Like, how concerned should I be? Like, I'm cooling it off with this air. Like, is it the dummy battery? Is it the camera? Like, what is causing... Like, should I just cool it off with this little fan thing and call it good? Like, how scared should I be of just continuously unplugging this crap and plugging it back in? What's going on here? Loving the new cam setup, aren't you guys? Was that a can duster? It was. It was a can duster. I mean, I mean, it's got literally just cool air. Like, it's just cool air. It's not gonna damage anything. At least I don't think so. Yeah, it's a Sony thing. Internal temperature too high. Most electronics need some sort of fan to keep the system in optimal condition. A small desk fan may do for now. They may sell a fan attachment for your camera. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up then. I have, if anyone also wants to help me out, I got the Alpha 6400 mirrorless. That's the one I have. So, but Sony is better by default because it's a Japanese company. If you create, shut up. I have not heard about the Airbox for Obsidian. Cameron says you got to put some respect on Oregon, man. Well, what kind of okay, what do you mean by that? I got to put some respect on Oregon. I have nothing against Oregon. I literally have absolutely nothing against Oregon. Like I like Oregon. I like Oregon a lot. I lived there for a large portion of my life. But I also like volleyball. And volleyball, there's not a ton of in Oregon. You read about the lightning. You can literally go to downtown Glendale and walk around looking at, or lighting. Yeah. At lights during the winter. Yeah. No, 100%. If I want to go play volleyball in Oregon, I have to find someone. Okay. The camera cut out, so I didn't finish my point. Let's say it's December and it's a good day. Didn't snow. Everything's clear. It's 48 degrees outside, 50 degrees. Beautiful weather to go play volleyball, right? Okay, awesome. When can I play? I have to play at some point between 1 to 4, and I have to find people that don't have jobs that are able to play during that time or have a flexible enough schedule where they can play during that time. And, let's say most people, get done work at 5, it's too dark by that point, right? And let's say there is people that are able to play during that time, right? It's like, okay, well, it's usually something where it's not that often. Versus in Arizona, okay, it's too dark, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, right? Too dark. Floodlights are everywhere here. Floodlights are on every single court. Hoses are on every single court. They are well equipped for the weather. That's the one thing I will say is Arizona does a good job when it comes to preparedness. Not to mention, too, another thing I didn't mention as well. Listen, we have monsoon seasons. Like, monsoons are our thing. But monsoons come and go. They pass. Guess what Oregon has? Wildfires. And at the end of the day, wildfires will happen regardless if it's within the state or not because of thanks to California. There has been times where we've had California fires bleed into Oregon, and then you can't go outside because of hazardous smoke. And there's been times where I've gotten sick multiple times because of the smoke itself. It's like, okay, well, it was supposed to be gorgeous outside today, 85 degrees, but I can't go outside anymore because the smoke is too dangerous. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Versus a monsoon. We just had a monsoon just finish, obviously, last night. And right now, if I want to go outside and play volleyball in like 6 or 7 hours when it's cooled down, I can, and it's going to be nice enough for me to do so. But if it was smoky outside, once again, just because, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't avoid a lot of these things. I would say it's a PSA 9 because, shut up. You guys are such goobers. What are your thoughts on the next set after 151? Do you think it could be better than Obsidian Flames? I mean, Obsidian Flames is objectively a terrible set, and it would be pretty easy for a set to overtake it. Average player, 12 hours of work, man. Well, they better be paying you well over there with Chloe, man. Topic, we're talking about weather and stuff about like where I live in the States, and then also why my camera keeps overheating and how we're gonna make sure that we can fix it. Hey Eli, do you ever spill the beans on which product with ES heavy hits? Sorry if you didn't want to answer. I'll stop asking. I have never spilled the beans about it. I've never spilled the beans. I've had conversations with people about it in private, but I've still yet to spill the beans. There's a box that has SV-based full arts in them. Seems to be around 2 per booster box. Have seen cases open like this. Not sure how widespread of a problem this is. Interesting. And is this for Obsidian or Paldea? Which set is this? I didn't know Oregon has weather that is so cool most of the year. Well, I mean, here's a calendar. Bend, Oregon weather yearly. So if we go look and see what the weather is yearly for Bend, Oregon climate, I want to see how accurate this is, having lived here. Let's go look in 2020.
At Rocket, we know buying and selling a home is a lot. Rocket has a way to help with that. When you sell with Rocket Homes, you can get up to $7,000 back after
Let's go see if we can look at 2022.
and finance with Rocket Mortgage to get up to $10,000 cash toward closing from Rocket Mortgage. We know it's a pretty big deal, and one you can get only with Rocket.
So if we want to go look in the weather, see, I don't know. So the highest temperature we had in August was 103. And the lowest temperature we had, which was February 23rd, was -7 degrees. So in terms of the temperature days, we had days going into September that were still in the mid-90s, which is hot as balls in Oregon. And obviously August and July, we had our 100 days. And then our cold days we had in March, February, November, and December, which was the months I mentioned, right? I said on average, it's usually between November and March that you're going to have your cold months. Sometimes April, sometimes not April. It really just depends. But like the running joke specifically about where I'm from in Oregon is if you hate the weather, wait 5 minutes. That was the running joke, because one day you could literally wake up in like the middle of winter and it could be gorgeous, and then the next day it'd be dumping snow. I remember the first year we moved, it was Mother's Day. It rained, then snowed, then got sunny, then hailed, then rained again. All in the span of like 4 hours. The weather changed. And it was ridiculous. How do I feel about the Greta? Would it hurt your feelings at all if Oregon got cut in half? No, because frick Portland. That's literally what it is. The movement is literally, hey, can we just get rid of Portland? Everyone hates Portland. No one likes Portland. No one in the state likes Portland. No one in the country likes Portland. It's literally not a hot take at all to say, hey, can we get rid? Like, honestly, at the end of the day, people just want to get rid of Portland. That's literally it, because Portland's so terrible. Portland's awful. Like, it's so bad. So people are just saying, hey, can we get rid of Idaho? Because we just don't want to be associated with Portland. That's literally it. Are you excited to see the new Pokemon in the Horizon Zero Dawn crossover with the new Raikou forms? Okay, first and foremost, I was saying this earlier. I like how this is like kind of a caramel apple looking feel. It would be really cool if this was like a caramel shiny Pokemon. That'd be pretty dope. Am I excited about it? It could be cool. I don't know. It could be cool. It could be cool. It's one of those things where we'll see when we get there. I don't want to jump the gun, but it could be cool. See, that's about as best as I can say, is it could be cool, because I don't want to jump the gun and immediately be like, yeah, it's gonna be fantastic, and then there's more reveal. Because this Raikou is like okay. I like the Duraludon type. I like the Applin quite a bit. Copalion, I don't like it. I don't like a lot of the futuristic stuff. I like the more prehistoric stuff. I think looks cool. I mean, this doesn't look bad by any means. It's just, I don't know. We'll see. Like the Raikou, it's like I want to like it because it's actually kind of cool, but I think it's this around his mouth. I feel kind of weird about it. I think that the Paradox Pokemon could be cool. Eli, did you use the USB cable that came with the camera? Could be a bad cable causing it to overheat. So what I'm using right now for the camera to run is I'm using a dummy battery to keep it running, and I am using a micro HDMI to HDMI to run the camera to stream. So I mean, that's about it. That's all I'm using. And the micro HDMI is brand new. I literally just bought it yesterday because my old one wasn't working. And then the dummy battery I got recommended from my editor is the dummy battery that they use when streaming, and it literally, like, they didn't mention anything about overheating. So I think I'll have to get into that. Check out the dummy battery and the battery handle. When you say check out the dummy battery and the battery handle, I guess what do you mean about that? Obsidian Flames is a terrible error. Waiting to see how many it pains out to be and how it resolves. That will be interesting, bro. If we do a box break on Friday and it literally, we just find a bunch of Obsidian or a bunch of Scarlet and Violet, that'd be gnarly. Bro, we got all 4 seasons in one day, literally. Rip Portland. Yeah, right. No one likes Portland. You guys remember Shiny Dialga? Very similar. People from out of state like the premium outlet shoppings near Portland. Save the taxes. I mean, but most of them are getting shut down because of crime. That's the problem. Literally, Walmart just left Portland. There is no more Walmarts in Portland. Think about that. Walmart is in everywhere. Literally everywhere. And they said we can't be in Portland anymore because the crime has gotten so bad that we literally can't afford to stay in Portland. Like, not to mention too, if you look at like, I understand like there's no sales tax, and so people are like, yo, let me live in Vancouver and Washington and I don't have to pay income tax, and then I go do my shopping in Portland. And it's like, okay, you can do that, right? But like, I don't know, just drive around Portland. Take a little bit of a farther drive. Go to somewhere else. You can also just lower the settings. Could be filming higher than 720, which you're outputting while streaming on YouTube. How do I do that? How do I do that? We need one city with at least anarchist values. Cameron gets it. Well, that's what Seattle's for. Hermit gets it. Walmart left, but Walmart people stayed. Oh, you're saying, oh, you already have a dummy battery. Oh, okay. So yeah, I already have a dummy battery. And like I said, I got the one that was recommended to me. I can check and see on, let me see, Amazon. Trying to go to Amazon. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going to Amazon to see my recent purchase history, to see what the overall, because I just bought it because he's like, here's the link, buy it. And I'm like, okay, will do. So if I look at the past, all right, so the dummy battery adapter for Sony, it says, does it say how long? I mean, does it say anything about it? I don't know. I can share it on the screen. I don't know if this is gonna say anything. My face is kind of in the way. I'm gonna put it down the bottom. But yeah, this is the one that I got. I don't know. Is it bad? It seems good. Maybe. I don't know. Is there some? I mean, it has a bunch of good reviews, right? No. I don't know. Tell me if I did something wrong. This is just the one I was recommended. Everyone out here talking about what they did to the Raikou. It's not the worst. Dude, we've seen much worse. You want to talk about massacring things? Let's talk about the Dialga and Palkia. That was a massacre. That was bad. What they did with Dialga and Palkia in their origin forms. Holy crap. That's what a massacre looks like. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Internal temperature high. Please allow it to cool. It's like the third time already. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into a fan for sure. It's good that I at least figure this now while on stream and not when I'm like going through to record videos, because that would suck. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, can we hit the thumbs up, please, for your boy? Like the video if you're a fan of the turning off of everything because it's too hot. Let me just, air blow the crap out of this, because this is going to be the last kind of plug-in before we call it a wrap. Because we've been going for almost 2 hours, so this will be the last time that I do this fun. Let me just cool it off with a with a Tuscan. So appreciate you. Thank you guys obviously for stopping by and checking out the kind of higher quality stream, like higher quality microphone, higher quality mic or camera that's turning on and off a lot. So fun times. Pika says, why is crime bad in Portland? Bad economy? Just because they're not arresting people. And when it comes to Oregon in particular, they have a lot of laws that are very friendly towards homelessness. And so there's not really much you can do about it. Like they're just not policing. Like, for example, if hypothetically speaking, you've got a homeless person that's like in your backyard, and you want to call the cops to like remove the homeless person, they're not going to do crap. They're just going to say, this is not our problem. It's not worth our time. We don't have enough in our budget to worry about this type of stuff. Like, they just don't care. Like, they're just not going to do anything. So dealing with homeless people is your kind of thing to deal with. And then of course they'll always make some argument. Like there's like certain companies that are like supposed to help homeless people rights. It's like something, and you'll, of course, have them now questioning you because you're now bullying homeless people because you're a bigot or something. I don't know. It's wild. That is one thing I will say, at least in the areas that I live, right? Maybe I'm a little bit privileged in the areas that I live in Phoenix, but homeless people, like, you see some homeless people, but not like Oregon. Oregon is like, there's tent cities, man. But here, not really not a ton of homeless people here. Yeah, before the whole thing explodes, gets new camera, it breaks. Oh my god, it'd be so sad. I also like the live makes fun for workday. Hey, I appreciate it, Necro. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's so funny too, because like there's so many gorgeous places in Oregon, and Bend, Oregon is one of them. Bend, Oregon is gorgeous. If you ever go to Oregon and you're like, Eli, if I could go to one place in Oregon, where would I go? Bend, Oregon for sure. Bend, Oregon is definitely the place to go. It is gorgeous. Just not Portland. Just not Portland. Not AZ. They better leave or something else will make them leave. A lot of people carry here. Yeah, it's very interesting seeing not a lot of homeless people in Arizona. I mean, if we provide the homeless shelters and food in exchange for labor to the streets and stuff, ban living in the streets. Exchange for labor to clean streets and stuff and ban living in the streets. I mean, yeah. I mean, homelessness is something that is obviously, it's endemic in a lot of areas, and it's definitely something that needs to be addressed, starting with getting them off the streets and getting them into mental institutions where they can be taken care of properly. Because it's not like, a lot of homeless people are there by choice. A lot of them just you know, did drugs of some sort or had some sort of mental issue and they can't function on their own at this point and they need some form of rehabilitation. Is he probably too hot for almost to sleep on the streets? You know what, Pika? That's honestly not a bad take. That makes sense to me. You guys are terrible. I was watching that reminds me of a podcast I was watching. Apparently there was a guy that used to do that as like a TV show. Like his whole show was he would literally pick bums and have them like fight each other. And then one time he got asked to do Dr. Phil, and he like went on Dr. Phil's show and he dressed up as Dr. Phil and was like, do you think it's wrong that you're profiting off of Dr. Phil asked the guy that his thing is about bums fighting. He's like, do you think it's messed up that like you're profiting off of bums fighting? Like that's kind of messed up. And then the guy dressed up as Dr. Phil is like, do you think it's wrong that you're profiting off of people that come on your show with mental illness and you making content out of it? And you're like, oh crap, that's gnarly. I can't remember what podcast I was watching. Probably something with Theo Vaughn if I were to guess. Are you planning on making any more Mystery? Yes, actually, we are planning on doing that sometime in the near future here. That's something we've actually been looking into most recently. I'm excited for that when we do release those. Obviously, we just have a lot of other things in the cards going on. But yes, we will eventually bring those back here soon. How much more CZ do you think we'll see released after Wave 7, such as large Shining Fates print product? Ooh, great question, because Shining Fates, I mean, literally, we had it up until right before out of rotation. It's definitely something I could see continuing to get printed later down the line, because they've made it very clear that when it comes to specialty sets at this point, they like to address the demand. They like to address the demand long term of it. Because if you look and see like product pricing for a lot of these specialty sets going back into the XY era and like early Sun and Moon era, prices on them are nuts, are so nuts. And they're probably aware of that, which is why starting with Hidden Faith, they were like, yeah, we're going to print this set into the ground, which is why you haven't seen Hidden Fates do much. It's not because it's not an incredible set, because it is. It's just because it got printed so much and they saw what the effects were of that. Which, come on, guys, why didn't you do that for Evolving Skies, frickers? I've been able to secure ZZ ETBs at a good price. Know if they're going to be able to reprint that. Bro, honestly, Pika, don't be worried. I'm less concerned about reprints and more on the side of like, hey, Black Friday is going to be happening and it's going to be nice. Or the GameStop deal. I don't know if the Pro Day is still going on, but it's like $5 to $10 to sign up for Pro, and then you go buy some product and get it. Buy one, get one 50% off. Can I have a base set booster box from your collection? I don't have one, but if I did, no. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple minutes left, and I'm going to wrap it up because we've almost been going for 2 hours. And I'm trying not to destroy my camera by consistently just throwing the battery pack in after I take it out. So make sure, obviously, to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. If you got any last questions before we wrap it up, make sure to ask away. But yeah, other than, I mean, hopefully we'll get things rolling with the quality, right? With everything. I'm hoping that we'll get things dialed in here. Korean EV Heroes has been fun to open and cheaper than English booster boxes. I understand that, and a lot of people have been asking, do you think Korean is a good play just based on the fact that people keep going into it? And I said, you know, it's hard for me to say because I don't fall heavily into that, but I will say in terms of overall, historically speaking, people obviously buy German first editions for expensive because it's cheaper. Morpeko playmats on sale is the best bet for cheap CZ. That's true. I mean, you can literally get it for like 40% off, 33% off, or something crazy like that off of wholesale. Favorite card from 151? Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to take a look at the set one last time before I give a final opinion on it. I don't think so because it came out pretty recently, but it's such an amazing set in the pull rates. how has your opinion changed now choosing ETBs to invest over booster boxes? My opinion has changed more recently just based on the fact that with specifically the Sword and Shield era, the Pokemon Company has made it very known that they're focused on pushing forward. And as I've mentioned many times before, if you did a 1-for-1 print of ETBs to booster boxes will drastically outperform ETBs. But because on average booster boxes tend to get drastically more prints than ETBs, they tend to do worse in the long term. But they're much more volatile. However, if we've noticed most recently with booster boxes, there have been very, very few reprints for booster boxes. And at the end of the day, with that, it has me believing with Sword and Shield era boosters, I want to take advantage of them while I believe they're going to be, you know, quote unquote, not short printed necessarily, but there's just a lot less circulating because then the prices are going to go a lot higher for them, right? Because if they're being printed the equivalent of the Elite Trainer boxes, then I'm going to want the booster boxes. It's only when it's been printed over and over and over again where the ETB hasn't really been printed a ton where I start to look elsewhere. But you know, that's kind of where my stance is on that. And it's less of a stance of like, I think one over the other is better, right? I just follow wherever the money is at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure I heard in Discord that you were going to talk about some good Magic plays, but do you have any suggestions for Pokemon plays currently? Well, are you talking about in the wholesale program or are you talking about outside of the wholesale program? Because that obviously changes things. Regardless, I like Lost Origin booster boxes a ton. But if we're talking about in the wholesale program, then a Lost Origin booster boxes. If we're talking outside of the wholesale program, if Pro Day is still available, I would take massive advantage about it. I mean, I literally made a video a couple days ago, or no, like a week ago actually. Wow, time flies. About the opportunities you need to take advantage of on GameStop. So definitely take advantage of that if it's still available. What do you think about Astral Radiance? I think it's the most underrated set right now with really nice alt arts. I'm not the biggest fan of the set, but I think that it's performing, and at the end of the day, it's performing. And so it doesn't matter what I think, right? I think now is a good place to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to thank you guys all once again so much for stopping by. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Outside of that, as always, if you want to, of course, be a part of the Patreon, if there ever is spots available, I highly recommend you click on the link down in the description below and join to get access to Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and so much more on wholesale. But outside of that, Discord's the place to be if you want to stay up to date on all things Pokemon USA. But that is all for today's video. Thank you guys all so much.